from a personal perspective, it's understanding that business decisions aren't necessarily things that imply anything about you as an individual.
Hi, welcome to today's topic. Now, today's topic is a little bit deeper than usual, and that's the topic of I've recently lost my job. The company said it was because of COVID or the situation. Only a small percentage of the team were let go. I or you were one of those people that were let go. You've taken it personally. It doesn't feel great. How should you handle this?
I mean, it's difficult, right? So let's say there were two people doing exactly the same role, and because of the company revenues, unfortunately one of those roles was affected. 50% of that team are going to feel appalling, and in fact the person that stays probably isn't going to feel that great either, because their colleague, someone that they've worked with, has now lost their job and they've been saved as part of the team. So it's pretty tough all round. Hopefully the business that you work for has some sensitivity and compassion about how they communicate these decisions. You know, the simple fact is, for a business that is struggling financially and needing to kind of cut costs and cut overheads, people losing their jobs is a harsh reality of business on decline. So I think, you know, from a personal perspective, it's understanding that business decisions aren't necessarily things that imply anything about you as an individual. There are things that are outside of our control in life, and this is absolutely one of them. From the level that there may be people that have got exactly the same scope of you staying in the company and you're leaving, that's definitely a little bit harder to deal with, because you might wonder why that person stayed and you went. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing we got to get clear is it's not your fault, and you shouldn't take it as personally as you may be doing so. Now, the reason because of that isn't just recently because of COVID. I've seen it happen so many times. Mergers and acquisitions, like two companies merging, two departments doing the same thing. One of them isn't needed, they get let go. People's working visas don't get extended, they get let go. The project doesn't get the funding, or the clients don't have the money to do that project anymore, people get let go. Now, it's always going to happen. I know it's easy to take it personally, but why me? I've tried so hard, I gave my clients, my company, everything. Why did I get let go? It's not always just about you. And my second point, and it's going to sound quite harsh to some people, but it's also the truest thing that I've ever learned, which is there's nothing you can do about it. You've just got to accept it and move on. You can sit there all day and you can kind of get upset and get angry and frustrated at, oh, but why me? Why me? Poor me. It's not going to help change anything. The company has already made that decision. They've let you go. The project's got no money. You've got to move on with your life and do what you can. Sometimes stuff happens that we just really don't want to happen and we don't like. You've got to move on. Now, I know it sounds simple, but what I mean by moving on is you've got to see what you've learned at the job that you did have, where you can take it next. Is this an opportunity for me to change industries and pivot completely? Was I actually really that happy doing that job anyway? Did I want to do something else? What can I learn from this experience which will help me move on to a better place? That's going to be the difference between the people that just stay where they are and suffer in misery and in their own mind, and the people that make the mindset shift and do better are the ones who are going to figure out, what can I do next? What can I do better?
Totally agree. And I think the key is change brings opportunity, right? So the idea that this is a difficult and traumatic experience, but you can perhaps learn and grow from it is the important takeaway. There's probably phases you go through. So the first is truly understand the information around why that decision was made. Speak to your former managers, chat to your colleagues, get as much information as you can. Try not to take that through the lens of personally, why me, why was I decided, but understand the business parameters behind the decision that was made. The second is accept, because you can't change it. And if you accept, you can then move forwards. The third is to see an opportunity. So then what do I now want to do? Now, hopefully, your company has given you some form of severance pay. You've got a cushion, which gives you some time to kind of find a new opportunity. But there's always ways that you can keep income flowing by taking freelance work in the short term while you reflect on what you want to do next. And maybe you don't want to jump straight back out there into the job market looking for a big step up in a challenging role. You might want some time freelancing or thinking thinking about what that next role might be. But ultimately, you need to move past the frustration and disappointment and see it as an opportunity for change and personal growth and development. And that's really the key, is to kind of leave the past where it is and focus on the future.
Completely. So as always, if you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to share to the wider network watching this, please do leave us a comment, send in any messages, and that's it for today's video. Thanks.